This is Billionario News Channel's High Impact Energy Show. Your hosts, Attorney Ina Magpale, former Commissioner of the Energy Regulatory Commission and Undersecretary of the Department of Energy, Myrna Velasco, book author, energy journalist, and columnist, and Attorney Ivan Galura, energy and climate policy specialist. This is about hard questions, sharp analysis, and energy conversations that matter. This is Power Shift. High energy, smart conversations.
When a new power operator or investor enters a failing utility, the challenge is bigger than poles, wires, and transformers. It is a mission to rebuild the network, modernize the system, and win back the consumers who depend on it. Pero kung ihahalin tulad natin sa ating tunay na buhay, buying a broken utility is not just like buying a new car. It's more like inheriting a car that fails to start, has warning lights everywhere, and the passengers have already lost faith. The real challenge is not owning it, it's bringing it back to life. At ganyan nga ang naging kwento naman ng pag-take over ng More Electric and Power Corporation sa power distribution utility sa Iloilo. And this is the story we bring to you in this episode of Power Shift. A journey across Iloilo, Bacolod, and beyond, where More Power and Primelectric Holdings, two of the power utilities under the Razon Group, are reshaping the future of power distribution through strategic investments, network transformation, and expansion across key growth areas in the Visayas, as well as targeted investments in Luzon and Mindanao.
We had a deep dive with Mr. Roel Castro. He's the President and CEO of More Power. And we unpacked his own professional pursuits in the power sector. Then, the challenges and their investment ambitions in the power utility game. It is an endless saga of poles, power lines, big decisions, and also plenty of sleepless nights. So we have to hear straight from Mr. Castro. Have you always been a technical guy or you jumped from the other fence?
I'm not a technical guy. I'm not an engineer. By background, I'm actually a graduate of agribusiness from Los Baños. No? But I guess my first involvement or early involvement in the energy sector was when I was part of the valuation, financial valuation team that did the valuation for National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, and I was part of the Razon Group that did the due diligence, and which eventually became the who won the concession for National Grid Corporation of the Philippines. So that was my first, I would say, entry. I mean,
entry point
sa energy. And well, as everybody knows, we operated NGCP for about a year, and there was this there was this corporate challenge that happened, and from there we actually left NGCP, and because of that, I ventured into power generation naman. And this one was with another company, and we actually built and operated the 135 megawatt plant in Concepcion, Iloilo. So from transmission, I went into generation, and I was operating it as the president CEO for how many years until the one day Mr. Razon asked me if we could also look into Iloilo for distribution.
Pero the role that you had at NGCP,
yes,
being the new company that operated the grid, mataas ka agad eh.
Actually, I became the special assistant to the president.
Yes.
At the same time, I was handling the corporate
with Mr. Brown, di ba?
with Dr. Walter Brown, Yes, and well, it was more of a staff position, being his special assistant. So
Yeah.
from there, of course, I was able to also have a bigger, well, look at the bigger picture of the industry. No?
Yes,
So
yeah.
there I understood well the role of the generators, the role, of course, of NGCP, and the role of the distribution utilities, in the whole context of the industry. And I saw that the energy sector is well, for one, it just keeps on growing.
And you've fallen in love with the sector
So
after
much,
that.
no?
Yeah.
So much in the sense that well, especially ito ngayon, lately, when the market is changing so fast. Technology actually is also improving so much. At the end of the day, it is looking for the right balance, on what is it that we could offer to the consumers. Because at the end of the day, of course, I mean, the investors have to get their the returns.
Yeah.
No, but at the end of the day, all of this actually means service to consumers. No,
Yeah.
and in my case, well, the reason why probably I'm so much in love with the industry is because of the so many changes, that's happening. No, na even sa regulatory
environment, and
globally, the financial, and at the end of the day, you balance, you see if what can be the optimal balance of all of these factors, which still at the end of the day, which should be good for the consumers. No?
Yung nuances lang ng supply chain. Because you've said you've been to all. Nag-transmission ka, generation,
Yes.
and now distribution.
Yes.
Ano dun yung madali for you? Ano yung mahirap?
Actually, if
The
you ask
challenges.
me, mas madali sa akin would actually be generation. No? Because ang mahirap lang naman sa generation is putting it up. No? Making sure that you're on time, making sure that it is on budget. But
Yeah.
once it is operating, and probably that's also the reason why I left the generation part, is because
Walang
once
challenge?
it's operating, yes.
Yeah,
oo, no?
parang stable na.
Stable na. And I found myself actually to be parang at that point, parang naging policeman ako. No? Kasi it's operating well, and then every time may problema, parang naano ka, bakit may problema? Bakit ano to? So, in other words, but of course, at that time, I mean, we were just working on one unit, of 135. So parang, ang ano to is, everything was so stable, and then parang wala akong growth na
Yeah.
nakikita at that point. No?
Pero it wasn't a walk in the park because coal yan. So marami
Yes.
ring opposition.
I remember when we were starting pre-development in the area, there was that anti-coal. No?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and
Malakas yung movement na yan.
from here, yeah. But the first challenge, and my challenge actually doon was that, I mean, how do you turn it around? How do you turn
Yes.
around the community? No, and say na, yes, it's coal, but there is such a thing as we call as clean coal. No, there is such a thing as we call responsible,
Development.
yeah, and all of the standards naman are basically specified by the DNR. No, I mean
Yes,
your NOx, your SOx, and everything. So which means that if you are able to operate within or below those thresholds, then you must be okay. No? And that was actually the way that we also explained it to the communities. I took it as a personal challenge as well. No?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we were able to build the power plant in 37 months. The target was 36 months. To be specific, we were just delayed by 1 month and 11 days.
Yeah.
And we were actually below budget by about ₱500 million. The biggest challenge also was that when we were marketing, yun nga, sinasabi nga niya, madali lang yan kasi Excel yan.
Yeah.
So the time that you go and ask for, it's time for us to sign a PSA, no? And they would say,
Mahal.
magiging mahal yan. I went to the board and asked the board, can I already sign a PSA that's already final?
Yeah.
Hindi na provisional approval. So, well, Of course, after so much discussion, the board said, well, if you think you could assure us, no, as the shareholders, that the price, no, I mean your construction price and everything would be within. So because you're now going to file for a final approval. So I went to those prospective clients and said, well, hindi na tayo provisional approval. Let's file for a final approval. They were saying, are you sure?
Yes.
I said, well, this is the only way. I mean, because I couldn't close anything. I mean, sinasabi nyo, hindi naman ako, I don't know anything about power plants, di ba? So, well, some of them sabi nila, sige, kung yan ang final price mo, then let's sign final approval. No? And even ERC at that time was quite, are you sure, sir? Na siya, final approval, hindi provisional. So, of course, I mean, I took the big risk.
And that development happened in the shadows of a crisis in Iloilo at that time.
Yes, we were actually, that was going to address the shortage also here in Iloilo, wherein at the time, the oil, you're correct, it was actually displacing the oil plants.
Yes.
When we return, we open the toughest chapter of the More Power's reinvention arc, cutting through the Gordian knot of legal challenges, public skepticism, and a utility system badly in need of a turnaround. How did they break through? We will find out next after this break.
The real measure of a utility success is not found in boardrooms or balance sheets. It is revealed in the voices of the people that it serves. We went straight to the ground in Iloilo, and we have heard straight from people about their frustrations, demands, and real-life expectations without filters. Pakinggan po natin ang ating mga ka-power shift.
Kung sa presyo po, wala naman tayong i-question dyan dahil yan na po yung talaga na presyo po para sa kuryente natin. At sa serbisyo naman, wala akong masasabing hindi maganda tungkol sa serbisyo ng MORE dahil lahat naman ginagawa nila ng paraan. Especially kung mayroong problema at tumawag ka, nandyan na rin sila kaagad. Po, nag-iisip na ako na mag-go into solar and I'm so happy na ang MORE naman po ay nag-offer naman ng net metering wherein yung mga sobra na hindi namin magamit, maibalik sa kanila, mabawa sa kuryente na babayaran namin at the same time, may bigay din sa iba na nangangailangan pa.
Sa ngayon, yung presyo ng kuryente dito sa Bacolod, sakto-sakto lang po, tsaka hindi naman mataas, hindi naman mababa, okay lang din yung presyo nila. At saka yung pagdating sa serbisyo, yung serbisyo ng Negros Power dito, inaabiso nila yung customer bago nila i-cut off ang kuryente. Sa ngayon, pag may emergency cut off, automatic nire-responde agad yung ng Negros Power, yung mga customer na nakakat yung kuryente.
Bilang isang simple empleyado po at ini-expect na din natin yung pagtaas ng kuryente, sa ngayon po yung ways ko sa pagtitipid is kung dati paisa-isa ako magplansya ng damit, ngayon po dinadamihan ko na para isahan na lang po.
So bali bilang consumer po, parang nararamdaman ko as of this moment is parang natatakot kasi this will be a ripple effect when it comes po sa budgeting namin plus yung mga expenses na kailangan i-compute kasi this will be another set of expenses po sa pamasahe plus yung sa kuryente. So parang medyo nakakatakot siya i-face right now kasi hindi naman yung sweldo namin is still the same lang. So with this one parang hihingi pa rin talaga tayo ng tulong sa gobyerno, sa LGU or sa kahit saan na pwedeng parang alleviate yung situation namin bilang mga consumers po.
Monitor ko muna yung mga bill ko sa mga kontador. And then yung mga appliances kung hindi na ginagamit, kinukuha ko sa kanyang saksakan, yung sasakit niya. Yan ang mga ilaw na naka-open, dapat ko patayin na yan kasi hindi naman na ginagamit. Yan na siguro kasi mahirap ngayon na nagmahal ng lahat ng mga bilihin. So, dapat monitor natin kung ano mga dapat natin gawin sa bahay natin.
So, ayun nga, Ivan, napakinggan natin kung paano nagsimula itong More Power. The time actually na pinasukan nila yung power utility in Iloilo, maraming kaso yan eh. It's like legal challenges of 1 year And alam natin na very controversial yan from the start nung pinasukan nila.
Ang nag-challenge is yung pinalitan nila.
Yung pinalitan nila. Kasi nangyari dyan, takeover, nagkaroon ng mga brownout sa Iloilo, and then, yun nga, ang kwento ni Mr. Castro is may clamor from the people of Iloilo. And then the time naman that they would have to invest na, pagdating sa power utility, binigyan siya ng challenge na bago ni Mr. Razon, na okay, you might want to look at the opportunity pagdating sa power utility naman, and Iloilo was the target because may clamor nga yung mga tao.
Yung mga issues kasi, bago sila dumating, Iloilo is a big city in the Visayas,
Yes,
right? It's growing rapidly. The infrastructure is very good, but also that translates to a higher demand of power.
Yes,
And the utility needs to keep up. Yung pinalitan yata nila kasi hindi ganun kaayos ang naging serbisyo. Marami ring doubts initially for
Yes.
more power because it was the first entry of the Razon Group in
Yes.
distribution utility sector, right? But they were able, according to Mr. Castro, they were able to do better, right? Than kaysa yung pinalitan nila.
Actually, yung pinakauna daw na tanong ng mga tao, anong kaibahan nyo?
Correct.
Kasi parang, alam mo yun, pag masyado ng mahaba yung relationship, di ba? Yung tipong nagkakaroon na nagiging lax na yung utility. Even sa tunay na buhay, nagiging ganyan eh. Kumbaga, nawawala na yung initial parang...
Passion or drive.
yung sinusuyo-suyo ka, di ba?
Correct,
So, umabot sa point na yon. So, the time na pumasok sila, sinasabi niya is that may doubt kung anong pwede naming magawa. Kasi yung mga problema in Iloilo at that time, interruptions,
Outages.
service interruptions. So, may mga brownout sila, and then may mga illegal connections and they would have to deal with. So, ang pinakamalaking problema at the time that you entered the DU,
Yes.
part of the business, you entered the war zone.
Yes, that's
How was
correct.
that?
When I built the plant here in Iloilo, I already knew more or less what was the...
Nag-spy ka na. Paano
Hindi
yung-
naman spy, but I mean, I already knew what was the state of the electric distribution here in Iloilo. No? So when Mr. Razon asked me, of course, I said, well, wala akong experience, no, but I'll try to do what is logical and I mean, try to make the business do it positive, okay?
Yeah.
Now, of course, the challenges, there were legal, no? In fact, my
Yes.
biggest problem, no?
Tsaka grabe yung away talaga. It's
Yes.
literally away
Yes,
that
oo.
happened.
But ang biggest challenge, no, when I stepped into Iloilo, no, for this, was that the Ilonggos were very skeptical.
Yes.
Okay, for two reasons. Number one, the company that we used, no, was actually it was a mining company, no, and then we of course went to SEC, have the primary purpose amended, no, and went through that process ng ano to. So of course the other side was saying, oh, tignan nyo, mining company yan.
Yes,
Hindi
oo,
yan,
kasi,
ano to.
yes,
Diba?
oo.
But of course, I knew that there were legal and regulatory ways naman to answer that. No? But that was made. Ano to. Number two is also because wala naman niyang alam sa distribution. Never, I've never held any position in the distribution business. So, and number three was that they were also skeptical because I'm not an Ilonggo.
Yes,
No, I'm not
oo.
from here. No? So, there was this ano to na, will you really be helping us? I mean, are you serious? No?
Yes,
That, well, a mining company who has no experience coming into Iloilo and you're not Ilonggo. So, what's the assurance that you will actually do better than the previous DU? No? So, it was it was very challenging. But of course, what I had at the back of what was actually working for us was because the franchise was already awarded to us. Sure.
Tanungin ko lang yung conversation with Mr. Razon. Kasi the time that you said, or sino bang nag-pitch na pwede natin to i-acquire? Or kung siya yung may interest, hindi mo ba siya sinabihan na, boss, bibili tayo ng sakit ng ulo?
At the outset, yes. No? But I saw it again as an opportunity. There was this petition na wag nang i-renew yung
Yung franchise.
franchise ng old DU, no? That even the local government was also siding na wag na, no, because of the problems, no. I mean, so I think what happened there, well, I'm really not privy to that, but probably linapitan si Mr. Razon, and then Mr. Razon said, sige, tingnan natin if to.
So nakita niya opportunity, that's why he got interested.
It started with him. It started with him. So, so siguro when he decided na, sige, Roel,
Pero wala kang doubt in your mind na, boss, mahirap yan. Nakita mo yung problema, ang haba.
Isa lang naman ang if you don't succeed, then fire out ka. Diba? But if you succeed, then siguro, I mean...
So sinabihan ka ba na, okay, gawin mo yan, kung hindi mo nagawa, fired ka?
Well, there was some point actually that he already told me, early part, no? That Mr. Razon already told me, well, kaya mo ba talaga? Kasi kung hindi, we bring in a third party.
Okay. No? And how did you accept that?
Well, sabi ko, give me a little time. While the legal challenges were there, I was facing this problem, no? Because, I mean, there's no acceptance, I'll put it that way.
But how did you answer that question? Kasi transmission ka, generation, distribution, pareho yung impression. Wala namang alam yan eh. How did you answer that question?
Well,
tsaka hindi ka naman Ilonggo.
Let me first start with the not being Ilonggo. No? Because ang nila is that, will you really take care of our needs? You're not Ilonggo. Sabi ko naman, well, delivering service for me is something universal. Di ba? Mapa-Ilonggo ka man, mapa-Bisaya ka, mapa-Tagalog ka, or you may be an American or whatever.
Yes.
What you're expecting is a service. I was saying na, okay, wala nga akong technical background, no, but I have a little industry background, no, no technical background. But sabi ko, my biggest, I would say, asset, no, is that I am also a consumer. When I came here and we were doing the due diligence na, so we were listing actually all of the
anong kailangan i-improve, problema,
no, because you read
magkano
it naman,
yung investment.
Yes, no. So it was a very long list, no, kasi starting with customer service nila dati hanggang 11 o'clock lang. Wala nang after Number 2,
11 o'clock
in the morning.
My God, ganun ka ikse. Okay.
Yeah, oo. Number 2 is that there was actually the complaints, and this one actually was really, I think, the biggest problem nila was that the billing actually was not based on reading anymore. No? It was based on assumptions, averaging, or whatever. No? So the trust actually of the consumers to the DU was already very low. Yeah. If I list all of this,
gaano kahaba yung problema na yun? Mga
siguro,
50,
if I'm not mistaken,
100?
siguro there were about mga 25, 30 items. Let me go back, sabi ko, as a consumer, ano bang ina-expect ko? That's where I started. So I want to have stable power. I want to have my billing that I could verify.
Yes.
No? I want to have this kinds of So I looked at it from a customer point of view. Then from there, of course, I mean, siguro with some management tools, no, I've used, no, to At the end of the day, it just said, okay, the reason why you're not getting this are because of the following. Number 1, the state of hardware.
Na ginamit nung dati.
Was already dilapidated. Ang substations were already getting, over 90%. No, in fact, when we came in, story on the side lang maganda nga kasi nagkaroon ng COVID. No? So nagkaroon ang consumption. So nagkaroon ng breathing space yung mga substations. Well, if you want to be serious in this business, it is capital expenditures. Meaning your facilities should be able to cater to the requirements and needs of your customers.
Yeah.
So there were problems here before na yung mga transformers pumuputok literally.
Oo, yan. Na-cover namin yan.
Because
overloaded.
So what do you need if it's overloaded? Do you curtail demand or do you increase the capacity of your transformer? So, di ba? I mean, logic says, yung transformer, na ano to. And then there were overloading, nag-ano kami, thermal scanning sa mga lines. Nagkakaroon na ng, even on normal days, nagkakaroon ng hotspot. So it means that your line is not enough.
Yes.
The capacity of your line is not enough anymore to the demand. So all of this actually meant capital expenditures. We said with 2 billion, the substations would have breathing space. We'll be able to replace the meters, replace the transformers, no?
Upgrade the
so forth
lines.
and so on. But until now, we still continue to invest. No? But of course, not in the same magnitude as before. No? Because systems loss at the time when we entered was about 28%.
Wow. So yung upfront talaga is
Yes.
malaki
Oo.
una.
In fact, I remember Mr. Razon telling me, "Well, yung losses natin, no? Because, you know, I mean, the company absorbs the difference, diba? From the cap to the actual
Yes.
systems loss. The consumers didn't have any trust to the in the DU anymore.
Yeah,
No? And I was coming in from a point na walang trust. I mean, how do you build it?
Yes.
And for
yeah.
them, the biggest factor for trust, no, is
Yes.
yung binibil mo sa akin.
Yes. So that's how you build credibility para paniwalaan ka ng
Yes.
consumer.
And the way that we did it was that for every time magre-read kami ng meter, pinipicturean namin. All meters. No? So every customer would actually have photos of the meters.
Tapos binibigyan nyo yun sa customer pag
Kung may
na-picturean.
question, then we show them, ma'am, ito yung ano nyo last month, ito yung picture, no? Ito yung number sa picture,
Sa
ito yung
meter
nasa
mo.
billing nyo,
Oo.
no? Ito yun ngayon, so forth and so if you subtract it, it is this. No? So little by little, they started to feel that, okay, mukhang may basis naman kasi may pictures kami.
Yeah,
No, na pinapakita na ito yon, na ito yung meter mo, may dated, ano yan, naka-timestamp, no? Then with that, we started to get the trust of the consumers. In fact, I remember they were saying, some of the customers, palitan nyo na yung metro ko kasi it's really old.
Yeah.
So papalitan mo yung metro, but that's already, yung metro na yun, hindi efficient, di ba?
Yeah,
Ano to?
yes.
So pinalitan mo ng bago mas efficient. So mas lumaki ang kanyang
Consumption.
consumption.
Oo.
Kasi ano to? So doon na naman, bakit na naman ganyan? No, so,
O kaya may mga reklamo na, tumaas yung bill ko.
Yes,
ganyan.
pinalitan niyo yung metro ko, tumaas yung bill ko. Naturally, because the old meter was dilapidated, was not ano to. So we had to face all of that.
Still ahead with Mr. Castro, let's look at the hard numbers and we also tackle their toughest challenges in the Iloilo power distribution network. From cutting massive system losses and reducing interruptions to the long-term transformation roadmap, which has started reshaping Iloilo's energy future.
Naging part naman ng problema ng More Power, yung isa sa mga pinakamalaking challenge talaga that time na pumasok sila is system loss. Ano nga ba to? Ito yung mga pwedeng nananakaw na kuryente dahil hindi tama yung paggamit ng mga tao. Pangalawa, yung nawawala din pag nag-transmit ng power, di ba? Ang sinabi ni Mr. Castro, we started at 28%.
Laki.
And ang regulation, ang sinasabi niya, you have to reduce that to 5%.
Kasi yun yung cap ng ERC.
Yes. And kung hindi mo kasi ma-meet yung system loss cap, di ba? You have to absorb the cost. And ano implication na sa business?
Correct.
Dagdag yun na gastos
Correct.
on the part of the business.
So they were able to fix that within the short period of time that they were operating.
Yeah. Tapos ang kinukwento rin niya is, yung theft ng connection, ang ginagawa daw ng mga tao sa Iloilo at that time, okay, ipapaputol niya. Ang gagawin, kinagabihan, ipapakabit yon. So what he did was like, nag-top siya ng mga guards around 250. So day and night na kailangan mong gwardyahan yung mga power lines, mga transformers, at saka ibang facilities para lang hindi na mangyari yung mga theft at saka mapababa nila yung system loss. sa
So
Iloilo.
parang desperate times called for desperate measures. Kasi
Yeah.
pagpasok nila talagang napakataas. Hindi mo sila masisisi na kinakailangan nilang mag-introduce ng ganung measures. Pero eventually, hindi naman na yata kinailangan ng merong 24/7 na nagbabantay malaki, ano?
Oo. Ang sinasabi niya, it's because of that guarding nga of the facilities. Dumami din yung nagpakabit talaga ng legal connection sa kanila. Na umabot doon sa point na 90-95% legal connection na siya. Pero the time daw na pumasok sila, mababa eh. So nakatulong yung pinagwardyahan niya talaga yung mga facilities. And the time din na actually, no, nagkakaroon sila ng problema when it comes to illegal connection and then mataas na system losses. Isa rin sa mga problema nila is yung doubt on the minds of the people na yung bill ko ba talaga binabasa nyo or hinuhulaan lang yan. So ang ginagawa nila, ngayon problema din natin yan as
correct.
even with the biggest utility in the country. Ginagawa daw nila, pinipicturan yung pagbasa ng metro and then pinapakita yan, umabot sila sa point na may house-to-house campaign para lang i-educate din yung consumers na eto talaga yung reading pagdating sa bill.
Importante yung mapicture nila para pag nagtanong yung consumer, yung household, meron silang may ipapakita na proof na yun talaga yung metro na nakalagay.
Yes. Our conversation with Sir Roel continues as we examine the bottles that tested more power from the beginning.
This is now the story doon sa sa systems loss because every month, I mean, the losses were just so big. I mean, imagine from 28% to 5% cap, diba? 23% you're absorbing as a loss, diba?
Yeah.
So I was so desperate already, and I remember we were ang putulan natin, but my people were saying, sige sir, putulan natin, pero mamayang gabi babalik yan. Kasi may taga-lagay naman. So, true enough, they did that na. So, I couldn't think of any other and I said, talaga, baka one of these days, papalitan na talaga ako kasi, walang experience, di ba? And the losses were really significant. No? And, so, something just, sabi, hindi, ganito, I called my security manager, I told him, you hire 250 guards.
That much? Oo.
Sir, 250. Sabi ko 250. 125 guards during the day and 125 guards
Because
at night.
may theft ba na nangyayari? Bakit kailangan ng guards?
So, ginawa namin was that every time may puputulan na kami ng mga illegal, kasi more or less na pinpoint na namin kung saan yung may mga illegal. Putulan, naglagay ako ng guard. So at that point, our POMRAL people would now start coming in, house to house na. Ma'am, hindi yung guard aalis dyan pag hindi kayo nag-apply.
Nag-reform na gawing legal yung connection. Okay.
So, over a period of few days, they would tell me, sir, mga 90%, 95% na nag-apply. So at that point, I would already say, tanggal na yung guard. I-process na yung kanilang mga applications para legal na.
Ilan yung customers nung pumasok kayo? Kasi ngayon daw, more than 100,000.
Yeah, when we came in, there were about 62,000 customers.
And now?
And now we're about 107,000.
Bakit dumami no nagkailaw?
No, actually, mas dumami during the time of COVID.
Oh.
No? And this was really the conversion of those
Illegal connections.
To legal.
So that much? Ganon
Yes.
kadami yung illegal connection?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the first month actually we were over, the first year, it was over 10,000 for that 1 year alone.
Wow.
Na nag-apply. But of course, we also had to do some, I would say, out of the box initiatives. Ang convention is that pag you're an applicant, you actually should have a proof of ownership.
Yes.
Either you own the land and or you own
the house.
No? And I was asking why. Sabi nila, sir, kasi the possibility of them to to transfer is very low because they own it. Sabi ko, sige, okay, let me take that logic muna for now. Yung sa mga informal settlers, tinignan ko, sabi ko, I looked at EPIRA, I looked at DOE, Magna Carta, and wala namang nakalagay.
Na amnesty?
No, walang nakalagay that there has to be that proof of ownership.
Okay.
So therefore, I was saying, lang to, this has been the practice.
Yes,
So sabi ko, kung tanggalin natin, and then they were saying, sir, kailangan kunin yung consent nung nung landowner. Sabi, the landowner will never give the consent because pinapa-consent mo siya as a parang in lieu of yung requirement of the ownership.
Yes,
Then of course,
yeah.
nobody will sign it.
Yes, yeah.
But if ngayon, the informal settler will now say na where there's a waiver or there's this undertaking, no? Na I want to have electricity, I am not after the ownership of the land. It has nothing to do with the land. All I want to have is electricity.
Access lang talaga.
Access to, ano to, di ba? And
Service,
when the rightful owner comes, the legal owner comes and lets me disconnect, then I will voluntarily have it disconnected.
Yeah,
Na? So, they signed it, yung informal settlers. So, we tried it. Until now, it's being done.
Yeah.
It's now being done in Bacolod. It's now being done in Negros. It's being done in Bohol, where we're operating.
Yung system loss problem, nasa ilang percent na kayo? Nasa cap na ba kayo ngayon?
Just 1 year, no, we were able to bring down the system's
To
loss.
5%.
Hindi naman. At that time, siguro, nasa mga 10%.
Pero that's still big na.
That's already over half of to. Then the next few months, na siya, pumasok na siya sa to. So, over 4 years now, we're within cap.
Pag customer ka, ang habol mo, one, aside from access, improvement ng service, reliability, syempre, and affordability. How has that happened for more power?
Yeah.
Ano yung nakita niyo na improvement on those two?
Well, the usual index, no, that's being used in
Yung
the industry is the SIFI-SIDI, no? And
The interruptions.
the frequency of interruptions and the duration of the interruptions. No? So, well, we were able to cut it down by over 60-70% on the first year. No? And then now, of course, nagtitrim pa rin, but it's already very low. And again, there is no magic there. No? The only well, not the magic, but the solution actually is really to have the facilities, the right facilities. Over the first 5 years, well, we actually implemented talaga very, I would say, program rehabilitation. No? Kasi yun nga, the posts were old, no? Dilapidated, no? The transformers. So, we actually had to do it over 5 years. We improved the capacity of the substations. No? Well, at the time, there were 5 substations when we came in, and the loading was actually mga 90% na. And the safe loading is about 70%. So, overloaded. No? So, we invested immediately in a mobile substation, no, na nakuha namin from Manila para and then upgrade yung mga substations to standardize. So, ngayon, actually, we could say that our capacity of the substation is already ahead of the curve.
Yes.
No? So, hindi na siya behind. No? It's already ahead of the curve. No? But of course, it has to be in a very calculated manner. Then, yung mga wires, yung mga transformers, no? And then we installed a lot of yung mga automatic circuitry closers, no? Kasi dati-rati, pag isang feeder, nagkaroon lang ng isang tuko, ng isang
mamamatay yung buong kalye.
Well, buong feeder, and that's actually running to about thousands of customers. So, now naka-sectionalize na siya with mga, well, what we call the automatic circuitry closers, no? And then yung mga dulo ng mga feeders, no, linulup namin at saka in between para yung flow ng kuryente, no, is hindi lang one way para if may affected area, no, meron
Nakikita,
pa rin,
may feedback mechanism.
Yes, oo. So, ang affected lang will be just one section, no? Hindi na yung by the thousands talaga. So, with that, we did it over 5 years. The balance sheet is already healthy. No? Your income statement is already positive, no? So forth and so on. So, that was a big relief.
And this story is far from over. We will be back with more insights from the front lines of change.
Ang pagbibigay ng kuryente sa isang komunidad ay higit pa sa mga kawad at poste. Kailangan ito ng malinaw na pananaw. Narito tayo ngayon upang silipin ang kinabukasan ng tinatawag na energy management kasama ang More Electric and Power Corporation. sa mismong puso ng kanilang operasyon ay ang SCADA o Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System. Isang makabagong teknolohiya na nagsisilbing digital brain ng kumpanya na otomatikong nagpapatakbo, kumokontrol at nangongolekta ng mahalagang datos mula sa kabuuan ng grid sa bawat segundo. Sa tulong ng SCADA, agad na natutukoy ng more power ang eksaktong lokasyon at sanhi ng anumang aberya sa grid. Bago pa nga man makatawag ang mga consumer, alam na ng sistema ang problema, kaya mas mabilis itong napapatakbo at naitatama ng kanilang mga inhinyero. Katuwang din ng teknolohiyang ito ang kanilang 24/7 helpline. Gabi man o araw, may handang sumagot sa mga pangangailangan upang masiguro ang tuloy-tuloy at maaasahang serbisyo para sa kapanatagan ng isip. Ang kanilang slogan na Bringing More to Life ay higit pa sa isang pahayag na kumakatawan ng kanilang tatak. Ito ang pangako ng more power sa bawat konsumidor. Hindi lamang sila naghahatid ng kuryente, naghahatid din sila ng mas maraming oportunidad, mas malaking pagtitipid at mas maayos na pamumuhay. Sa pamamagitan ng maasahan at dekalidad na serbisyo, layunin nilang maging kabahagi ng pagunlad ng bawat tahanan, negosyo at komunidad na kanilang pinaglilingkuran. Bringing more to life, more Electric and Power Corporation.
In the last round of candid exchange with Mr. Castro, Power Shift will touch on the innovations as well as investment expansions that they have worked on beyond Iloilo and what will be the next chapter on More Power's expansion strategies. And here's the kicker. Is the Razon Group eyeing to be the Goliath also in the power distribution segment of the industry? Let's find out from the man of the hour.
Yung affordability naman, kasi laging yan yung concern ng consumer.
Yes.
And paano kayo nakatulong sa business growth? Kasi titignan mo Iloilo ngayon, grabe nag-thrive siya economically.
Yes. It also has to do with the quality of your people. No? So we are very much, how should I say it, very sensitive, and isang ano lang talaga ng group na yan, how do we actually get the cheapest power even on a daily basis? No? Which means that we actually have traders in the office 24/7, no? Just looking at the market.
Presyo sa market.
And if actually the market price is lower, so we get it from the market versus bilateral. If bilateral is ano to, so you know, we do trading, and basta at the end of the day, we have to have the cheapest powers.
Ilang percent yung bilateral nyo compared to what you get from the spot market?
On an average, siguro that should be, bilateral should be about mga 70-75%.
Which is within,
Yeah, so you have the 25% market participation. But you know, it really, it's not always that way every day. No? Kasi ang bilateral naman is to compute yung total energy mo for, let's say, a period. No? Because there are times when the market is really low, we get even up to 50% for that day or for that hour, no, from the market kasi it's cheaper.
Yung business growth, paano kayo nakatulong dyan?
The growth actually of business, no, it really comes from, well, for one, no, if your services are good. No? And here in Iloilo, I think, well, it was really felt, no, by the consumer. Then, of course, the rate. No? And the number 3 is that from our side, we make sure that the facilities, again, are ahead of the curve. No? So any investor who comes in Iloilo know that, well, they don't have to think and be worried about if there will be electricity, no? Because that's always the assurance we give the investors. So even with, let's say, the business, the industry leaders here with the local government, I tell them that you bring any investor, we are ready.
Ano yung growth drivers dito ng economy? Hotels, restaurants?
Yes, of course, BPOs. No?
Okay.
And, well, Iloilo has always been the center of services, no? Banks, well, of course, government agencies are here. But it's really, well, number 1 is BPO. Number 2, the tourism. Talking about that, at some point, I was telling the mayor, sabi ko, Mayor, why don't we light up the churches? di ba? Make it attractive, no? Parang Europe, no? You have the rustic, ano to. And, we agreed, no? We did it in Molo and other churches. And because of that, i-Instagram and ano to. So, ang daming curious, ano ba yung nasa Iloilo? No? So, aside from the food, I mean, this one, and then yun, recently, we also wanted to develop actually the most historic heritage part of the city, no? Yung sa Calle Real.
Innovation and strategy. We'll start with yung underground cabling na ginawa nyo for DU dito sa More Power.
Yes.
Second is yung sa plan for smart meters.
Yes.
So AMI, yung electric meters na intelligent. And then, yung use of AI. And when it comes to strategy, mag-work ba sa atin yung hedging, lalo na in cases na may giyera?
We're not the first DU to actually do an underground distribution system, or the UDS that they call. No? Other DUs in Davao, no? They did it. But I think the difference is, dito, parang na-highlight siya because, number one, it is within a very historic and heritage area. No? So, and again, I mean, since we are promoting Iloilo, no, as a heritage city, so it really fell into place. No? And doon na highlight. In fact, some of my friends were saying, "Oh, yung buong Iloilo is underground." So, hindi
Kasi mahal.
Kasi mahal. I mean, that's about 10 times more expensive than if it were...
Than what we have right now as a system.
Yeah, if compared to overhead. No?
Yeah.
But sabi ko, no, I mean, we're just putting it on strategic areas na sana na to. And there are actually ongoing projects now, initiatives, so actually, pagandahin pa yun. But, yun, so we started with that, no? And again, doon na na-highlight, and initiatives are now starting to happen along. Number two is yung yung use of
Smart meters, yung
smart
AMI,
meters,
Advanced
yes,
Metering
So,
Infrastructure.
very recently, I was in the US, no, and also actually we've been looking into this also before. We're trying to look for a platform that should be very appropriate and the most appropriate platform for us. Except that, well, if I look at technology providers, no, medyo I'm not so happy, no, kasi
At this point.
the technologies are good, no, pero it is not really designed for us. So we're starting to develop this now with industry, with technology providers.
So
no?
para may input ka sa design.
Yes, sabi ko, ako ang mag-design, kami ang mag-design kasi ito yung tingin naming appropriate for us, no? Then you come in and say if your technology will be able to support. When we look at the cost, this and that. So sabi ko, I'll do the reverse. So we do the design, no? So now we're already at that phase and we're now talking to some technology providers, no? And sabi ko, ito yung design namin, kayo ang kayo ang magbigay ng solution sa amin ng ganitong design. Because there are consumers definitely who need the advanced metering infrastructure.
Yes.
They are the ones who would want to see the consumption, the voltage, no, siguro on a 5-minute basis, no, yung mga ganon. But there are also consumers on the other side na hindi naman ganun ka-sophisticated. Di ba? I mean, for them, to have the electricity and to look at my bill at the end of my billing cycle is more important than looking at it every 5 minutes na so therefore they don't need the capability of what the AMI will be, plus of course the cost of of the meter, no, to the needs nila. So yan yung binabalanse namin ngayon. Hindi naman binibilisan, pero sabi ko, we'll just make sure, no, that I mean what we include, no, in our capex filing, no, is really what we need. I'm very excited actually. Sinabi ko doon sa team, ako ang magsa-champion nito. Talking about AI, we're actually
AI
using
and money pays also, because that's one innovation
Yes,
you would be having.
Yung sa AI, we're actually using it already. No? And, well, ang design namin ng AI is, well, firstly, I would say there are million of data points or data that we already have the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Di ba? problema dyan, ang dami mong data, hindi mo na-analyze.
Yung interpretation,
Yung
otherwise.
interpretation,
oo.
looking at trends, looking at ano to, saan ba karamihan ng brownouts na nangyayari, ano ang reason, at
So,
what
paano mo
time,
gagamitin yung data ngayon?
diba?
to improve
Oo. Kasi, pag may mga tawag naman sa helpline, although they're very efficient, but they just lag kung ano yung mga...
Yes.
But to look at it, to look at the big data, no, and then
Yes.
find story for that, nobody's doing that. Unless, somebody, an analyst, no?
So, medyo kulang pa kayo on the analysis part and how to use it para...
So that's actually when we use the AI. No? So the AI would actually give us the story.
Yes.
Okay? The analysis, the story. But at the end of the day, I was saying, the AI will not decide. Yung MoneyPay actually is a...
Manny Pacquiao?
Yes, it's
really?
it's owned by Manny Pacquiao.
Okay.
No? And well, happened to be Manny Pacquiao is also our partner in General Santos. Like right now, here in Iloilo, no, almost 89%, 90% of our customers are actually paying through through
Digital platforms,
Yeah,
oo.
through the banks and itong mga GCash and the likes. No? 10% na lang ang pumupunta sa office. No? And karamihan senior citizens na they still want to do the conventional way of paying. No? Well, that's what we are envisioning, no? Especially now. Na mahal ang pamasahe, all of this. So, if you could actually do payment via, without coming to the office, no, and not spend any more pamasahe just to go to the office and pay, then that's what we're encouraging.
You started somehow as a David when it comes to the DU business. Are you aiming to become a Goliath with all the other acquisitions?
To start with, we never had any plans of expanding. To be very honest, no? When Mr. Razon asked me to manage the DU here in Iloilo, we never discussed about him telling me, oh, we want to grow, we want to do this, to do that. Wala. No? To be fair, there was none. And ako, just customer focus. No? Kasi yun nga, sinabi ko, basta bigay natin kung ano yung expectation ng customer and then we exceed, then I think we will be successful. Areas near or adjacent, of course, got to fill it. Bakit doon ang pagitan natin is only highway? Bakit doon mas mura ang kuryente dito sa
Tsaka
atin?
wala silang brownout. Tayo meron.
Oo, doon pag tumawag ang bilis ng ano din. So, yun. So, the consumers actually clamored. No? And this, I'm referring to the 2nd and 4th districts of Iloilo. Bacolod, Negros, ganun din. No? And yung mga kamag-anak naman doon halos, Bacolod and Negros, na yan. No? Negros and Iloilo and Panay, yan. So, they saw the development dito. Bakit gumaganda? Bakit ang Bacolod at the time and all the other areas were lagging behind? Fast forward, we are now there 18 months and we're giving the improvement. So, at the end of the day, it is customer focus. We're not actually looking for size. That is not that's not our motivation. My motivation is that if there are DUs, customers that are wanting and clamoring to have our kind of service because they've seen Iloilo, now they're seeing Bacolod, they're seeing Negros. And if they want to have the same kind of service, I will consider.
Ano sa tingin mo, Ivan? May isang nag-power shift ngayong gabi.
Kulang tayo.
Kulang tayo.
Asan kaya si Atty. Aina?
So, siya naman ngayon ang
Siya
nasa
ngayon,
travel.
oo.
Dapat yata travel show ang show
Shifting
natin.
tayo sa power shift.
So, lagi na lang may nagpa-power shift.
Pero,
Circling back naman doon sa discussion natin, syempre pinag-usapan din natin yung expansion ng more power and then yung mga innovations nila. And alam naman natin kung ano expansion nila, that's in Bacolod, sa Negros. And then meron silang inaay in Luzon, which is in
Correct.
Batangas.
They're
And
bidding
another
yata.
one in
Mindanao. Yeah.
Ito yung partnership with
Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao.
Correct, yes.
Balikan ko lang yung tanong mo. In your opinion, magiging Goliath ba ang Razon Group pagdating sa distribution business sa power industry?
Pwede Myrna, kasi compared siguro sa mga ibang investor-owned utilities, yung strategy kasi ng Razon Group is very very peculiar, very interesting, and they're very aggressive. They're expanding right now, as you mentioned. They started in the Visayas, now they're in Luzon, where the biggest utility of the country is right across that utility, and they're also expanding in Mindanao. So they're all over the country.
Kung mangyari lahat yung
Kung
expansion.
mangyari lahat ng
oo.
expansion na yun, and they're targeting really big cities that have a really rapid growth.
And they
So,
now have 3 in Visayas. That's Iloilo, Bacolod, and Bohol. They're now in Bohol as
Pero
well.
siguro ang magandang evolution din lang dyan na interesting, Myrna. Kasi whenever an investor-owned utility comes in, magiging iba yung treatment niyan sa mata ng regulator. Kasi ang electric cooperative na naandyan dati, in theory, non-profit yan.
Yes,
Pero kapag may pumasok ang investor-owned utility, medyo mas may leeway sila to make profit so that they can improve the services in that area as well.
Which is the point also of Mr. Castro. Ang sabi niya, yung capex allocation talaga matters. And ang backer mo is a Filipino trillionaire, then I would think na kakayanin. Even if sabi niya hindi yan yung focus. But I would want to see it one day. Now, it might be a Gulayat in the power industry.
Very much possible. Every big transformation starts with a few headaches, mountains of challenges, and probably lots and lots of coffee. But with the right vision, discipline, and a clear roadmap, industry players can turn a difficult start into a success story for the customers that they serve.
Success does not kick off with applause. It starts with many pain points. But when the mission is achieved, the reward is bigger than the struggle. So don't regret the tough fights. They are the price of meaningful progress. This is Power Shift, hard energy, smart conversations.